Most shops treat technicians and service advisors as separate jobs with separate responsibilities. One works in the back, one works in the front, one turns wrenches, one talks to customers. Champion shops understand something most shops never figure out. Technicians and advisors are not separate roles. They are two halves of the same system. The technician is the hands of the truth. The advisor is the voice of the truth. If either side fails, the system fails. And when customers lose trust, it is almost never because one person did something wrong. It is because the system between the technician and advisor broke down. The digital vehicle inspection exists to prevent that breakdown. The DVI is not a report. It is not a checklist. It is not a sales tool. The DVI is the bridge between the bay and the customer. It is how truth moves through the shop without being distorted, softened, exaggerated, or guessed. The single greatest enemy to trust in an automotive shop is guessing. When technicians guess, measurements lose credibility. When advisors guess, conversations turn into sales pitches. When customers sense guessing, pressure replaces trust. The Champion standard is simple and non-negotiable. Never guess, never pressure, always guide with proof. This inspection step exists to protect everyone involved in the transaction. It protects the customer by giving them clear visual evidence of their vehicle's condition so they can make informed decisions without fear or confusion. It protects the technician by documenting what was inspected, what was measured, and what was verified, creating a defensible record of professional work. It protects the advisor by removing uncertainty from the conversation, allowing them to educate instead of convince. It protects the shop by creating consistency, accountability, and long-term trust that extends beyond a single visit. Most shops fail here because they confuse effort with clarity. They believe that checking boxes equals professionalism. They believe that speed equals efficiency. They believe that talking confidently equals trust. Champion shops operate differently. Champion shops understand that clarity beats confidence. Proof beats persuasion. Systems beat personalities. A good inspection says we looked at it. A champion-level inspection says we measured it, we documented it, and we can show you exactly what we found. This difference matters because customers do not evaluate your intentions, they evaluate your evidence. Customers do not know how long a repair takes. They do not know how complex a system is. They do not know how hard the job was. They only know what they can see and understand. The DVI turns invisible work into visible truth. This is why both technicians and advisors must understand the same standard, even though they execute different parts of the process. The technician's responsibility is not just to inspect, but to inspect in a way that can be understood by someone who has never worked on a car. The advisor's responsibility is not just to explain, but to ensure that what they are explaining is complete, accurate, and supported by proof. If either side shortcuts the process, the entire system suffers. When DVIs are rushed, advisors sound uncertain. When DVIs are vague, customers feel pressured. When DVIs are inconsistent, trust erodes. Champion shops do not rely on individual talent to overcome weak systems. They rely on strong systems so individuals can perform consistently under pressure. This is why the DVI is not optional. It is not a suggestion. It is not something you do when there's time. It is the foundation of professional automotive service. This step is not about selling more work. In fact, weak inspections are what force selling behavior. Clear inspections eliminate the need to sell at all. When the truth is visible, the customer decides. This is not about speed. Speed without clarity creates comebacks, conflict, and burnout. Clarity creates efficiency without sacrificing trust. This is not about personality. A calm, quiet advisor with strong proof will outperform a charismatic advisor with weak inspections every time. This is not about opinion. Opinions create debate. Measurements create understanding. The Champion standard is built on one core belief. Customers deserve the truth presented clearly without pressure. Technicians and advisors are partners in delivering that truth. When the system is followed, the shop becomes predictable. Approvals become consistent. Stress decreases. Trust compounds. This is the role of the DVI in the Champion system. Not paperwork, not process for process's sake, truth delivered clearly every single time.
From a technician's perspective, the digital vehicle inspection is not administrative work. It is not something you do for the advisor. It is not something you do for management. It is something you do to protect yourself, the customer, and the integrity of the work being performed. Your DVI is your signature. It is proof that you inspected the vehicle thoroughly. It is proof that you measured what matters. It is proof that you told the truth. The technician's job in the DVI process is simple in concept, but demanding in execution. Find the truth, measure the truth, show the truth, and document the truth. Finding the truth means inspecting every relevant system, not just the concern listed on the repair order. Vehicles do not fail one system at a time. Wear, age, mileage, and neglect affect multiple areas simultaneously. Measuring the truth means replacing opinions with numbers. Brake pad thickness is measured, not guessed. Tire tread depth is measured, not eyeballed. Battery health is tested, not assumed. Fluids are evaluated based on condition, not color alone. If it is measured, it must be documented. If it is documented, it must be accurate. Showing the truth means capturing clear photos and videos that tell the story without explanation. A customer should be able to look at your inspection and understand what you are seeing without needing technical translation. Poor photos create doubt. Blurry images create confusion. Incomplete visuals force advisors to guess. Documenting the truth means writing notes that can be read out loud to a customer without reinterpretation. Your notes should describe condition, location, and measurement clearly and professionally. Condition is not the same as recommendation. Your responsibility is to report what you found, not to decide what the customer should buy today. Recommendations are built from condition, history, safety, and priority, and that decision happens after the inspection is complete. One of the most common technician mistakes is rushing the inspection because it does not feel like real work. In reality, a weak inspection creates more work later. It leads to comebacks, re-inspections, lost approvals, and strained conversations. Another common mistake is uploading inspections at the end of the job instead of in real time. Real-time documentation allows advisors to prepare, review, and verify before anything reaches the customer. The advisor should never be surprised by your inspection. The customer should never see an inspection the advisor has not reviewed. When inspections are unclear, advisors are forced to guess. When advisors guess, customers lose confidence. When customers lose confidence, approvals drop and stress rises across the entire shop. A strong DVI eliminates this chain reaction. When your inspection is clear, the advisor presents calmly. When the advisor presents calmly, the customer feels informed. When the customer feels informed, decisions happen without pressure. Your DVI also protects you long after the vehicle leaves the shop. When questions arise later, documentation matters. When failures occur later, records matter. When customers return months down the road, the inspection history matters. Your photos, measurements, and notes become your defense. A rushed inspection might save a few minutes today, but it costs hours later. Professional technicians understand that documentation is part of the repair, not separate from it. Inspect every vehicle as if the customer's family is driving it. Measure everything that affects safety, reliability, or longevity. Document clearly so the truth stands on its own. A locked DVI standard benefits everyone. It leads to more approved work, fewer disputes, and a bay that stays full without chaos. Your skill as a technician is not just what you fix, it is what you can prove.
When I receive a digital inspection, what matters most to me is clarity. I don't expect to understand every technical detail. I don't need to know how to fix the car myself. What I need is to see what you're seeing and understand what it means for my safety and my wallet. Photos and videos make a huge difference. When I can see worn brakes, leaking parts, or damaged components, it helps me trust that the inspection was real and thorough. Clear measurements matter too. Numbers feel objective. They help me understand why something needs attention now versus later. When everything is laid out clearly, I don't feel rushed. I don't feel pressured. I feel like I'm being given information so I can make a decision that works for me. I notice when shops are transparent. I notice when they show me what's good, not just what needs repair. That balance builds confidence. I don't want to be sold. I want to be guided. When a shop shows me the truth and lets me decide, that's a shop I trust. And when I trust a shop, I come back. I recommend them to friends and family. I don't second guess every recommendation. Clear inspections make me feel respected. They tell me the shop values honesty over pressure. That's what keeps me loyal.